Flosstube, I'm Annie and I'm the proper stitcher. Thank you for joining me today for Flosstube number 11. If you are returning, welcome back. If you're new, welcome to my channel. This is a Flosstube channel where I like to talk about cross stitch, some quilting, and hopefully giving you some inspiration to finish some projects. I do believe that all projects deserve to be finished and that I would rather have a finished project than a perfect project. And I've said that before, and I just wanted to clarify what I mean by that. I just noticed that through all of my years of cross-stitching and being around other cross-stitchers that I have often heard people say that I can't finish. I can't do this like someone else does it, and it's not perfect. Well, my belief is that I would rather have it finished than perfect. And the more you do it, the better you become at it and more confident. And then you have a product or a project that you completely finished on your own. And so hopefully we can all learn to step out of our comfort zones and become more familiar with that. So, and I by no means are my projects perfect, but I just enjoy seeing something that I did from start to finish. And I used to have some projects finished professionally, and I still do send some things off to be finished because I have not learned to do certain techniques, and that's something that I'm working on. So hopefully we can go on this journey together and get through all of that. So let's get into my stitching and what I've been doing this week. So I took a trip last Friday, just an afternoon trip or a half-day trip to Johnson City, Tennessee, which is about an hour and 40 minutes from where I live. And there's a wonderful store there y'all have heard me talk about, and it's called Cross Stitch and Crafts. Well, Amy at Cross Stitch and Crafts had ordered me a Blackbird design book, and it had come in, and she is wonderful about kitting things up and mailing them to me, but I really wanted to make the trip this time to pick out some linen and to get it kitted up myself. And so it gave me the perfect excuse to go up there. And my son went with me as my co-pilot, and we just had a good afternoon. You know, he didn't go into the store with me. Actually, he did go in the store with me this time, but he sat down and they have a reclining chair there, and he just hung out there while I shopped. So I will link their shop below, but Amy and Sandra at Cross Stitch and Crafts are just sort of my first go-to shop when I need something, and they are wonderful. So I took a trip there on Friday. Saturday, my craft table was built. That is what I'm using today. And then I spent the rest of the weekend and a few days this week getting some more things organized in my sewing room. It's still a process. I'm just did not realize how much stash and supplies I have collected over the years. So I organized my floss this weekend. I brought up a lot of odds and ends, I don't want to call it junk because none of it's junk, but just a lot of stuff, you know, just buttons and bells and ribbons and picks, and just trying to figure out the best way to organize it up here. This room is getting full fast, and so I'm trying to keep the clutter at bay and keep it organized. My daughter walked in yesterday or last night. She said, "It smells like Hobby Lobby in here." And I laughed because I thought, I hope that's a good thing. I guess she meant because of all of the stuff that I had, but it made me laugh when she said that. But so that's kind of my sewing room update. The guy that built the table, his name is Chris, and he built my bookshelves for me, and he was great to talk to. He actually, between the two trips from when he built the bookshelves and the table, he said that he got interested in what we do as far as cross-stitch and quilting, and not that just he had no idea that YouTube had such a big following for Flosstubers. So he found that to be very interesting. So I am enjoying my sewing room. The last big thing to do here is my shutters. My shutters will arrive in about a month. So hopefully between now and then I can get some things stitched to put on the walls, and maybe I'll have it to where I can either show some photos or do a quick little video of the room. So it will be a work in progress for a while, and that's okay. I'm just so happy to be up here and to have it. I did have a question from a viewer, and it actually just came in today, and I noticed it, and I thought that it was such a good question. I wanted to answer it. And anytime you have questions, don't hesitate to email me or ask the question in the comments below. I read them all. I read all of my emails. And I try to either give you a thumbs up, a heart, or at least answer your question or acknowledge that I've read your question or your comment. So don't ever hesitate to ask me a question. But this viewer, her name's Sheena Rang, and she asked if I had any recommendations for samplers for beginners. She said that she wants to try a sampler and she doesn't want anything too big. And so I called my friend Kay, who is just, like I've mentioned last week, she is just amazing, an amazing stitcher and quilter, and she's been stitching for many years. And I asked her her opinion, and we were chatting about it briefly this morning. With my needle, not with thy needle and thread, but with my needle, has a mini Quaker sampler, and it's a good size if you want to try a smaller sampler. Lottie Da has several smaller samplers, and a few I wrote down are Me and You, Little Summer Sampler, Quaker Alphabet, and Blackbird Designs has a lot of smaller samplers. And so does, if you want more of a Little House Needleworks or a Country Cottage Needleworks design, they have some samplers too. So hopefully that gives you a range of different types of samplers if you ever want to stitch a smaller sampler. So hopefully that helps, and I'm ready to get into some finishing with you all. So I did not spend a lot of time on some of my stitching this week because I'm close to finishing some other things and I just really wanted to work on them. But one of the designs that I've been working on that took up a lot of my attention was Hen Peck by Plum Street Sampler. I have been stitching this for a few weeks now, and I was close to a finish, so I wanted to really work on it. So this is Plum Street Samplers Hen Peck, and when I showed it to my husband, he said that's an old chicken, established 1776. So my family, they're always so silly. But Hen Peck, Plum Street Samplers, and I have a finish. So this is my finish for Hen Peck. And I'll tell you about this. So Hen Peck, Plum Street Samplers. So what I did, and you know, I do watch Priscilla and Chelsea on Stitching with the Housewives, and they use a lot of magnets with their finishing, and I usually do not, but this one I wanted to use some magnets. So I'm gonna take this all apart for you. So what I did is I found this at a local store, and it's sort of one of those stores where they have booths set up, you know, a lot of different vendors. And this is just a metal tin, and it's not old, and it looks like something they bought at Hobby Lobby at some point, but it has these little hooks on the back, so you can hang it on the wall. And what I think it is something for a towel rack and maybe some flowers, and you can hang it on the wall. But I'm just gonna leave it on my counter like this. But I didn't know if I wanted it to be just for this project, because this is something that I could have out year-round for other designs. So I decided to use the magnets for this because I thought that it was the perfect way of getting more uses out of this this metal board. So what I did is I used Priscilla's Pretty Plaids, the red, and I was originally going to do a lot of black on this, but I decided that I really wanted it to be more patriotic, so I wanted to pull out some of the reds and the blues. So I used Priscilla's Pretty Plaids, that's a tongue twister, and then I had some checks, like a homespun check of a fat quarter bundle I had from Hobby Lobby, and this is just a navy blue check. And then I always like to, 9 times out of 10, I like to use double batting on my pieces. I just like for them to be a little bit more puffy. So I used 2 layers of batting, and I did interfacing. I ironed the interfacing behind the piece, 2 layers of batting, and all 3 pieces are on sticky board. And then I did, all of this is from Hobby Lobby. So I like to get Hobby Lobby, they have them year-round, different seasons, but they always have this kind of twine, wiry wiry twine. And I've gotten it for Halloween before, I've gotten it for Christmas, and this is red, white, and blue. So I used it like a bow, and I made a bow behind it, and then this American flag bow ribbon, excuse me. And then I've got this button in their sewing section, in their button with their fabric, and they came in a set of 3, and I liked the star. I thought that that was a nice patriotic touch too. So I just set it on top, and this is going to go in my kitchen. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. Love this design. I love anything by Plum Street Sampler, and I like chickens. So this is something that I'm excited to have to show you. So let me know if you're stitching it. Let me know how you are finishing it. But this was such a fun summer piece to stitch. So that is my only fully finish from this week that I wanted to share with you. So let's get into my whips. So because of, here's my calendar, my book of days. Moving right along, it's hard to believe that we're almost through week 2 of June. It's crazy. So my whips this week, because of Hen Peck, it did take up a lot of my time. I do have a stack of whips that did not get my attention, but that's okay because that's just part of having a lot of whips, but it's also part of just cross stitch, right? So another piece that I've been working on that I made a lot of progress on this week, and I'm so excited, and I really want to get this one done, is Summer at Cherry Hill by With Thy Needle and Thread. And I have been stitching this one for several weeks now, and this is one I'm doing an informal stitch along with on Instagram. And this is the design, Summer at Cherry Hill. And if you want to join us, you can use the hashtag Summer at Cherry Hill. Oh, excuse me. I do this every time. Hashtag Cherry Hill, SAL. Such a sweet design. And as I was stitching her dress this week, I've got a funny story. Not funny, but I have a story to tell you. So this is my progress. And I am all the way down here on her dress. I could not resist stitching her dress. So I had to get that started. And it required a little bit of concentration. But there is a photo, an old photo of my grandmother. Lois is her name, or was her name, and her last name was Gray, her maiden name, and that's where my daughter's name came from, Lois Gray. And loved my grandmother so much. And there's a beautiful photo of her from the 1930s, and she's wearing a red dress. And if I can figure out how to insert it, I'll insert it. And if I cannot, I'll either put it at the end or on my Instagram. I'm not really good with figuring all that out yet. But there's a photo of her wearing a red dress. And this dress, when I was stitching it, made me think of her. And I think that's subconsciously why I was drawn to this piece, maybe. But I am really enjoying this, and I'm hoping to have a finish on this one soon. And I will frame it. This is gonna be my first piece that I tried to kind of professionally frame on my own using foam core and not sticky board. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm really enjoying Summer at Cherry Hill. So Summer at Cherry Hill and Hen Peck just took up a lot of my time this week. And I've just really enjoyed it. This I'm stitching on 32 count vintage country mocha. I'm using 2 threads over 2. And on Hen Peck, I used 32 count vintage mocha, and I did 2 threads over 2. I usually do 2 threads over 2 unless it's a 36 or higher count, which is not very often that I stitch on 36 or 40, but that's usually what I do with my thread is on 32 and 28, I'll use 2 strands. So that is Summer at Cherry Hill. My other stitch along that I am doing, I'm co-hosting with Artie, the Vintage Stitcher, and we are stitching a Quaker Christmas. And I hope a lot of you are joining us. I know a lot of you are. I hope that you are joining us. Some people are stitching Quaker Christmas too. And this is such a sweet design. I have always wanted to stitch this, and we have, between the two of us, a lot of people joining us on this stitch along, and the hashtag for this one is hashtag Quaker Christmas, SAL. And I did not make as much progress. A lot of you are really, really far on this. In 1 week, we started June 1st. And this is my start. I've already had to pick a little bit of it out, but this is my start. And I am stitching this on 32 count Edinburgh, cream Edinburgh. And I'm using 1 strand. And that's actually some of what I had to pull out is I, in a habit, pulled 2 strands, and I stitched this little motif with 2 strands. So I couldn't figure out why it looked so different. And then I realized I used 2 strands instead of 1. And then this morning I was working on it and I messed up over here. So I will get some attention on, give this one some attention this week. But I love this stitch, and I think I don't know why I've never stitched a Quaker sampler before. I've said this before about this. These are like a lot of little mini projects in one, and if you did not want to stitch the whole thing, just pick out some motifs and stitch those and make little ornaments or smalls for a bowl. But this is a Quaker Christmas by Bygone Stitches, and Amy at Cross Stitching Crafts said that they can get this in. They had some in when I was there the other day, and if they're ever out of anything, they can get it in a matter of a day or two and kit it up and send it to you. So if you're wanting to join us, don't hesitate to call Cross Stitching Crafts or your local needlework store, and I believe some people have found a PDF version of it online. So I hope you join us. The goal is, whether it works or not, the goal is to, for me, is to have it finished by the end of November. So I need to really give this attention every week. So I'm using the called for threads, which is Balsam Hill. I didn't pull out the others. It's Cupid and Ye Old Gold. The Balsam, excuse me, not Balsam Hill, that's a company. Balsam Fir, Classic Color Works. So it's really a pretty stitch. So I hope you get to join us on that. So, now I'm getting all my stuff mixed up. So another project that has gotten a lot of my attention lately is Plum Street Samplers Summertide Blessings. And this is that one. And this is so pretty. I'm really stitching more and more Plum Street Samplers lately. They are just so much fun to stitch. I love their patterns. Paulette does a wonderful job with designing her charts, making it easy to read. Really enjoy it. But I'm using this tomato needle minder. This is for my hashtag Tomato Tuesday project that I also stitch along with Stitch Etc. Kim Gavlik at Stitch Etc. So if you want to follow us on this, use the hashtag Tomato Tuesday and pick a tomato design and have fun with it. But this is my progress on this. I'm stitching this on 32 count Stormy Night, Belfast. So I got the flag almost finished. I'm filling in the white. I started on her dress, and the dress, the little crosses on the pattern call for Havana. And I decided, here you can see the Havana is a little bit more brown, and I decided to change it to the red because I wanted her little dress to be more red, white, and blue. So I changed her buttons and her belt to the blue, which is Freedom. And then I changed the red, which is Chili Pepper. Changed the crosses to red. So cute. I need to work on this one this week too. And this will go in my sewing room. I'm probably going to frame it, and I think I might make a tomato wall. There are so many tomato designs out there that I just really have found and love, and some of them are in my stash today, or my haul today to share with you. So that is Summertide Blessings by Plum Street Sampler. And then another project that got my attention this week was Clarissa Beaumont by Little Robin Designs. And this is a stitch along I'm also doing with Stitch Etc. And this is a new design by Little Robin Design. And she has a website where all of her designs are a PDF download. And this is the sweetest little design and sampler. This is a small sampler. And what Kim and I both liked so much about this project was all the animals at the bottom. And I loved all the colors at the top. They're so cheery and bright, and I love the blues, the light blues. So I got a little bit done on this week. I finished this row here, and then I started this next row. And I'm using all the called for DMCs colors. Oh, it's stuck on my needle minder. All the called for DMC threads. And this is like all of my stitch alongs and any stitch along I will ever do, it will be a no rules apply, because I don't like for it to feel like homework. I want it to be fun. So stitch what you want, stitch when you want, start when you can, finish when you can, all of those things. Just make it your own. You stitch what makes you happy and on a schedule that makes you happy. So that is Clarissa Beaumont. And go check out Little Robin Designs website. She has so many pretty patterns, and I just instant gratification too if you like to do PDFs. And most of her, I think all of her projects call for DMC, so super easy to just get it started. I do have a stack of whips I still want to share with you, even though I did not work on them this week. And I think I'm just going to call them my stack of shame. I love these designs, but right now they are kind of on the back burner, but they're still in my rotation. So this week, hopefully I will get more of these designed. I'm still getting used to my table on how I'm going to set it up, but it's a big space, but it's still an arm's reach away. So we'll work on this before next week. So what I've been stitching out of this Home for the Holidays Blackbird Designs book, and I know a lot of y'all are stitching the first weekend of each month. You're stitching with Brenda and the Serial Starter. You're doing your Blackbird Sal to stitch for the weekend. Well, this weekend I did not get to do that because I was stitching on the Summer at Cherry Hill and my Henpeck, trying to get those two done. So I should have had this marked for you. I don't like to, here we go. So on this one, I am stitching 'Tis the Season, and it is beautiful. I am using 32 count Belfast Valor linen, which is a beautiful shade of green. And I'm using the called for Bella Soie floss, and I just really love this. I need to get back to this because I'd like to have it done by Christmas. And I'm pretty close. I just have the bird to finish and some more of the stars or the snowflakes, and then the wording at the bottom. It's funny, I was showing this to a friend of mine and she said, you better finish it this year because you've already stitched the date on it. So it will definitely be finished soon, but I am enjoying this one a lot. So I will give that one some attention this week. Now, I told y'all last week on my Modern Folk Embroidery, which is a favorite of mine, but it's still in timeout because I have messed up this bowl of fruit and I need to get that back on track. So this is my Modern Folk Embroidery, which is a Fruit of Plenty stitch along. And this is also a PDF download. So you can go to modernfolkembroidery.com, download all of his designs are PDFs. So I'll link all of these shops below and all these designs below. But I love this and I love blue and white. Y'all hear me say it all the time. But I am using, on this one, I am using DMC 3750 and 932. So what I have done is I have messed up this bowl, and it started probably with berry number 2 and I'm off a few stitches, and so it's made all of this shift over. So that's what I meant when I said last week, I'm trying to decide, should I just try to figure out and make some more berries on my own and try to make it work, and because I don't want the bird to be off-centered. So I need to figure that out, or am I just going to rip all this out and start over? So that's been my holdup on this, and that's why he's in timeout. And so hopefully he'll come out this week. I really want to work on this some more. This is one of those stitch alongs where you get a piece of the design each month, on the first of the month. And I'm still in January. So this is a case in point on I just go by my own rules. I am not going to get worried about being behind because I do enjoy this so much. And this one will go in my bedroom. And Modern Folk Embroidery, he has a lot of different size patterns. So if you don't want a big piece, he's got a lot of beautiful smaller pieces. This I'm stitching 2/2. This is 32 count antique white, Belfast antique white. And it's beautiful with the blue and the white. Oh, excuse me, with the blue, these two shades of blue. So I'm really enjoying that. I just need to figure out what I did. Another one in my stack of shame is that I need to work on is Freedom Quaker. And this one is From the Heart Needle Art by Wendy. And this is a sweet little design, and I really can finish this in no time, but I'm still right here at the beginning of this first motif up in the corner. So I will work on that some. I'm stitching this on a Dixie Sampler linen. It is 36 count Rolling Stone, and it's a nice gray. Now, one project that I did work on some last week, but not since I saw you last, is Hello from Liz Matthews Butterfly Cloche. I just love this design so much. I need to give this more attention. It's just one that I mentioned it last week. It's one that I have to sit down and really focus, just because it has a lot of color changes. And I think Liz Matthews did a tutorial on how to finish the glass paperweight, which I need to go watch if she's done that. Either I've heard she's going to do it or she has done it, but I just love this one. One thing about Liz Matthews and her mom, Kathy Barrick, when they do a design, they are wonderful with giving you a good DMC conversion. So they usually stitch in silks, but they spend a lot of time giving you a DMC conversion that is very close to what I think that they're exactly the same. But this is my progress on this. I do this every time. I can't remember how to hold it up. I think this is no, it goes this way. So this is my progress. And I love the colors in this. I'm stitching this on 36 count. Picture This Plus Fog. The reason I went with this linen is the modeling on it. It reminds me of antique paper, old paper that you would see these natural history prints on in a museum. And it reminded me a lot of that. And this is the perfect finish for this, or perfect linen for this. It is one that I really enjoy, and I am enjoying the stitching on this. I am using one strand of floss over 2 because it's 36 count. All right, just one more. And this one is another hashtag or stitch along that I'm doing with Stitch Etc. is Friendship Fridays. So a lot of designers have friendship themed patterns. And so Kim and I were thinking, let's do a Friendship Friday. And it's so much fun to do because you can either stitch something for a friend, stitch something friend themed, or stitch with friends. That's the idea of hashtag Friendship Friday. So use the hashtag or look for the hashtag Friendship Friday. But this is another Plum Street sampler, and this is called A Friend Loveth at All Times. And I will definitely give this one some attention because tomorrow's Friday, and I just enjoy it. It's an easy stitch. I'm stitching this on 32 count Confederate gray, and it's really pretty. Is that right? No, excuse me, graceful gray, not Confederate gray. I'm using this Sweet Flamingo Toes needle minder for this project. Flamingo Toes has some really nice needle minders. I like the enamel that they use. It just makes them all very cheerful. The tomato I showed you earlier, let me get that glare off of it. The tomato I showed you earlier was a flamingo toes. And I think I've given some away as giveaways in some of my earlier giveaways. Super cute, a lot of fun. They have a website. You can also find them at a lot of shops online or at your local needlework store. So those are all of my whips. I do have some quilting whips I'm going to show you at the end. So if you're not interested in those, you can just stop the video at the end or at the end of all of the cross stitch talk, and then but if you're interested, I'll have a few of those to share. I want to kind of get into the rotation of adding some of those to my videos. So let's move on into my gifts and haul that I got this week. Let me get this out of the way. And a lot of you asked about my furniture that I've purchased for my room, and I will have a blog post on that soon. I'm still working on learning how to do the blog, but I got the bookshelves from IKEA, and I got the craft table from Wayfair. And I'll put those links below, and then when I have my blog, I'll have that up too. So if anyone's interested to know where I got them, then you'll be able to look them up. So let me show you a few gifts that I got this week. So sweet. I have just so many nice people that subscribe. I appreciate you all, and gifts are not expected, but I appreciate it so much. My friend Kay, I told y'all she is a master quilter, just fantastic quilter, and she sent me. She knows that I want to let me see if I can find the pattern. She knows that I want to, oh, I forgot to take these out of bags. Sorry, everybody. I usually take these out of bags for y'all, but I didn't today. But she knows that I want to make this quilt. And this is a Bonnie and Camille Thimble Blossoms design, a quilt pattern. And she knows I want to stitch, or I want to make this. And I have the fabric, I have everything ready to go. So many people are keep saying stitching, or sewing this on Instagram, and I'm excited to do this. But she made me a pillow of the same pattern. So that is what this flag is, and this is how big one square will be. But she made this for me, and I love it. She used primitive fabric. I didn't ask her what fabric she used, but it is so pretty. You can see all the red, white, and blue, all the patriotic designs, the red ticking in the back. This is a beautiful pillow, and I love it. It is, for now, it's downstairs in my living room, but after a few days, it's going to make its way up here in my chair in my sewing room. Thank you so much, Kay. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's so sweet. So sweet. So that was from Kay. And then a viewer who won a gift, a giveaway from me, named Tina, she sent me this sweet needle box and some needles. So thank you, Tina. That was so nice of you. And then another viewer, Linda sent me a sweet card that she made. And then this is a tag to put on my floss ring that she made. It's like a laminated tulip flower. And then this looks like little strings, but it looks like twigs. It's so pretty. And then this is something else she made. She said that this is a tag she uses to put on the back of her framed pieces. And she just she made this little envelope, and it says a sweet note. And then she said that she writes down the projects and puts it on the back of her frames. And that's how she keeps track of her, what she stitched and what's in that frame. Love it. It's so sweet. Thank you. Thank you so much, Linda. And then another card I got from Amy, and she was a winner of a giveaway. So thank you, Amy. I appreciate that card. You all are so sweet. Okay, so I did get a little bit of haul this week. I found these tiniest vintage tomato pincushion to go with my collection. I love I love this size. Look how tiny it is. It's so cute. So I got that. When I went to Johnson City, Cross Stitch and Crafts, Amy had ordered for me the Blackbird Design book, Oh Joyous Day. And I've been wanting to stitch this for a long time. So she gotten this in for me. She had to order it because they were out. And she said, I can kit it up and send it to you. And I was like, no, I really just, I want to play with some linen because I wanted to add some linen to my stash. So I kitted this up while I was there. And I got all the floss to go with it. So here's all the floss. And I am going with, oh, let's see, we put it on here. I'm sure we did, right, Amy? This looks like fog. This looks like picture this plus fog. I thought I put it on here. I'll figure out what I picked and let you know, but it looks like fog by picture this plus. So that, or this may be a week's. I really thought we put it on here. I will put it in the show notes below and let you know if I figure it out. But I got the linen, which is a 36 count, and I got all the floss to start Oh Joyous Day. So that will be a start soon, not until I get a few more things finished, but that is definitely one that I'm excited to get started on. And it's a big one. Another thing I got when I was at Johnson City, Cross Stitch and Crafts, is I got from Plum Street Sampler Flirting. And this is in her Georgia Martha series, Paulette's Georgia Martha series. She has a spring one, a fall one. This is the winter one, but it's so cute. And I love that green. I went ahead and bought, no, deep fennel. I got deep fennel for it, but it calls for mascara, pelican gray, collards, crimson. It's so pretty. I think I got some of the floss for this one. I need to check my stash. I may have some. And then I got a deep fennel, Classic Colorworks. I must need that for another project. And then I just needed some linen for my stash. So I got 32 count Confederate Gray, Weeks Dye Works. It's a good piece. I got 36 count Vintage Navy Bean by Lakeside Linen because this one's always hard to find and she had a lot of it. So I got those 2 bundles of linen. And then I couldn't help myself. I had to get some Halloween stitching. So I got 2 JBW designs, the French Crow and the Ghost, French Country Ghost. And I got this really unusual linen. And I think this is a Dames of the Needle. I need to ask Amy. I'll put it below. I'll link it below. But this is a really unusual brown with some green. And I just thought with the black on it, she was stitching a Dames of the Needle design on this linen using this black. And it looked so pretty. It was just perfect for Halloween. So I might have to start that soon. But that will be 2 little smalls that I'll have for Halloween this year. So that was my haul from Cross Stitch and Crafts. Then I ordered online a long time ago. I ordered these when I was on vacation and they just arrived. So I got these from Annabelle's shop online, and I'll link her shop below. But Annabelle's, oh, there's a glare because this is shiny. But I ordered the latest Stitching with the Housewives and To All a Good Night. This is so cute. I just love all those little houses. This is the most precious thing I've ever seen in my life. This is the Luminous Fiber Arts Counting is Hard. This is by Misty Purcell. And she also has a Flosstube channel. But I love this design. And I've been wanting to learn how to make a drum. And this may be one to make a drum because she has it shown as a drum on the back. Or I might just frame it and hang it in my my sewing room. But this with the blue, so much blue in this, it's so pretty. And that tomato, I just love this. I can't wait to stitch that one. And then I got two Hello from Liz Matthews patterns from Annabelle's shop. I think it's Annabella's. I got her My Home in the Garden. I thought this was beautiful. A lot of blue, a lot of green, a lot of fun summer colors. And I got Fourth Day of Christmas. I am not stitching all of these, but I just like the birds on this one. And I'll probably finish it into that little tree. Maybe it'll be on my table somewhere downstairs, but it's super pretty. So Fourth Day of Christmas by Hello from Liz Matthews. So that is all of my haul, all of my cross stitch talk. I think I've told y'all this. I'm going to a cross stitch retreat at the end of September that Kim with Stitch Etc. is hosting, and her designer guest is Stitching with the Housewives, Priscilla and Chelsea. And so it's going to be a Halloween themed retreat, and I'm really excited about that. And so I'm hoping to, because I'm helping Kim some with that retreat, I think we're going to try and make a trip. It's outside of Indianapolis, and we're going to try to make a trip this summer to get some work done for that, and then visit the 3 cross stitch stores that they have there. So I'm excited about that. That's my later in the summer plans. This week I have a lot of cross stitching plans. I want to get my sewing machine up and running again. I want to sew a patriotic quilt. So I'll either make a charm quilt just to make it fast and have something, or I might go ahead and start the flag quilt by Bonnie and Camille. So those are my plans this weekend. I'm hoping to get a lot more done to show you next week. And my daughter has her ACT on Saturday. So send her some good thoughts this weekend. She gets really nervous when it comes to taking tests, and she's taking it this time and once in July, and we're hoping that that she has good results and that she feels good about it. So fingers crossed on that. Oh, and I wanted to give you an update on my sister. Thank you all so much for your continued prayers and thoughts about her or for her. She is finished with her radiation. She's finished with chemo. She's sort of in a resting period for a few weeks. And I think in about 3 or 4 weeks, they will do another scan and see how things went with those treatments. So she's very tired. She has family in town right now. Her husband's family is in town. So it's just, she's enjoying having people there, but she's really tired. So just pray for her strength and pray for good results from her scans. For those of you who do not know, my sister, Lisa, I come from a family of 5 girls. There's 5 of us total. Lisa is the second to the oldest, and she was diagnosed with lung cancer in February. She and my brother-in-law got COVID and had to go to the ER, and through that illness, they discovered that she has lung cancer. And she's never smoked a day in her life. Just one of those things where no idea how or why, and you know, we can't worry with or say that or think that way. We're just sending her positive thoughts and prayers, and she's just such an inspiration being positive. She's just such a sweet soul, and so we are just praying for her quick recovery. So keep her in your prayers. I'm hoping to go see her again this summer. Maybe my daughter and I will go down and squeeze in a college tour on the way. So let's get on with our winners from last week. So last week I had some giveaways, and we are almost to 3,000 subscribers. So let's try to get us to 3,000. I will definitely have a big giveaway once we reach that. So I appreciate all of you commenting and sharing my channel with your friends and just helping me build this up. I'm really enjoying it, and I appreciate your support. I really do. But my question last week was, what linen or fabric do you like to stitch on? And I saw a lot of responses, a lot of different types out there. And you know, I stitch on all different types. I stitch on linen, I stitch on even weave, I stitch on Aida, I stitch on Lugana, I stitch on different counts, 28 count, 32 count, 36 count. So, and a lot of you were like that. You mix it up. A lot of you are just one type and that's it. And that is okay. All of these linens and fabrics are just perfect, and that's what makes our projects so beautiful. But thank you for all of your comments. Okay, so number one, the first giveaway was these 4 cards from Summer House Stitchworks. Beth Seal is so sweet. But this is her Fragments in Time series. So these are 4 of her Fragments in Time series. And the winner of that is Dawn Eck. E-C-K. Dawn Eck. So Dawn, congratulations. I'm going to list my email below. All the winners, please email me with your name and your address and what you won, and I'll get these in the mail just as soon as possible. The second giveaway was this Not Forgotten Farm, the Good Witch Sampler. And that's a sweet little size. That is so cute. But the winner of this is Sharon Spaw. Sharon, S-P-A-W. So Sharon, congratulations. Number 3 is this Stacy Nash Primitives, Miss Baxter's House. So cute with that cabin and these chickens. The winner of this is Rose Franson. Rose Franson, congratulations. Number 4 is a Blackbird Design Autumn Song Sewing Box and Needle Keep book. And the winner of this is Tammy Ironman. E-Y-E-R-M-A-N. Tammy Ironman. And number 5 is another Not Forgotten Farm, Cat in the Moon. And the winner of this is Amy Martinez. So ladies, if you'll all email me, I'll get those out to you. And now the next giveaway, oh, let me see if I can pick it up. Okay, so the next giveaway, let's see. What do I want you to, oh, how about this? If you were to go to a retreat and you can meet any designer there, who would you want it to be? Who is your fangirl? Oh, I would love to meet that designer. List it below. And comment below, answer that question, and list number 1, 2, 3, etc., whichever one you want for the giveaway, because I want to make sure that these gifts that a viewer sent me go to someone who really wants it. So list that number, and we'll do a random drawing next week. Okay, so number 1 is Basket of Eggs by Shakespeare's Peddler. That's so cute. So cute. So Basket of Eggs. Number 2 is Stacy Nash Red Work Sewing Book. And one of my goals, I mentioned I wanted to learn how to make a drum. I want to learn how to make these needle books, and that's what this is. I'm going to have Kay help me. So this is number 2, Stacy Nash Red Work Sewing Book. And that is so pretty. Okay, number 3, When Flowers Bloom by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. This is pretty. I love all that red. So, When Flowers Bloom, number 3. And then number 4, Scattered Seed Samplers. This one is Mary Wood, 1837. So number 4. Number 5 is a Prairie Schooler Santa, 2016. And that's number 5. So just answer that question below. If you could meet any designer at a retreat, who would it be? I think that would be fun to read all of those responses. Oh, and I do want to give you some Flosstube shout outs. So I found that I watch a lot of Flosstube now more than most things on TV. And it's something I can stitch to. And I said this last week, and a viewer mentioned it, and it's just so true that Flosstube is like a community of stitchers. If you want to stitch with someone, it just feels like you have someone in the room with you, and you have friends to stitch with. So I've been watching some Flosstube this week, and I found Stitching is Elementary. I really have enjoyed watching some of her videos. She's a school teacher, and she's out of school, and so she's a quilter, and she's a cross stitcher. So Stitching is Elementary is someone I've been watching lately. Hollis Hands Create, I found her as well. She has an Etsy shop. I'll link all these below too. But Hollis, Hollis, Hands Create. And she stitches a lot of different things. Really enjoy watching her. And then one lady that I found, she's in Michigan, and she is such a joy to watch. Her name is Melly Ellie Stitches, and that's Mely Ellie Stitches. She is adorable. So much energy. She likes to make project bags. She's opened an Etsy shop selling her project bags. Just so cute and such a dream to watch. But those are some of the Flosstubers that I've found this week, and I'll link their channels below if you want to go check them out. So now is when I'm going to start showing you some of my quilting whips. So if you're not interested in that, I understand, no feelings hurt there. But I want to just let you all know that I like to call myself, and this sounds bad, but I'm a lazy quilter. Because I'm new. When I first started, I only did charm packs and jelly rolls, and I still am a lot like that. I mean, I have a large collection of charm packs and jelly rolls. And the reason that is because I just want, I haven't mastered the cutting and the squaring up and all the different patterns. And if I pick a pattern for something that requires some cutting, it's very minimal cutting. So that's just me. That's the way I enjoy quilting, because I want a finish. I want to finish. I don't want something that is so challenging that it makes me frustrated and I don't enjoy it. I want to continue to enjoy quilting. And so what I mean by a lazy quilter, it sounds awful, but I like pre-cuts. And so I do a lot of pre-cut quilting. Now, what I'm going to show you today is one of the first quilts that I've started that I took a class, and I meant to bring you some finished quilts. I'll do that next time. I have a couple of finished quilts I was going to show you, but they're downstairs and I just forgot to bring them up. So I taught myself to quilt by watching YouTube channels, and I got the idea from Priscilla and Chelsea when they started doing charm pack quilts and jelly roll quilts. And they recommended some videos, and I watched them, and then I found some videos on my own and just fell in love with it. Just fell in love with being able to have a quilt that my family can cherish. And my grandmother quilted. These are quilts in my cabinet that my grandmother made, and I unfortunately do not have a lot of her quilts, but I do have two, and I have a baby quilt that she made that I just love and cherish. And I just started thinking that I want my children and my family to have something that they can pass on and that they can enjoy, and that's something that we can enjoy now. And so that is kind of where my quilting idea came from. It's been a journey learning how to do this. There's been a lot of frustrating moments. There's been a lot of happy moments. But what I do is I do my quilts start to finish on my own. I have not spent the money to send it to a long arm quilter. And the reason is I feel like I'm still such a beginner that, I realize my cup's in the camera, sorry. I realize that I am still a beginner, that I do not want to spend the money on having someone else quilt it for me. So I do free motion quilting, and I do my own binding, and it's a lot of it is just, I'm still learning. And so I love it and I enjoy it, and I'm so glad that I've got my sewing machine back out and I can get busy. So let me show some things to you. I'm going to take a quick sip because I've been talking for a long time. Okay, so let me grab my things. Okay, so I have a stack of things here to show you. And a lot of it is, none of them are finished. I'm still, like I said, I'll show you some finished ones next week. My first quilt that I made was a Christmas quilt, and it was a jelly roll quilt, diagonal stripes, from Quilt As You Go method. I'll link that below too. And it was a mess. It was awful. But I love it. It's beautiful. I mean, it's fun to wrap up in. It's small. Some of it's already coming apart because I didn't have my seam allowance. It was just a mess. But I learned from those mistakes, did it again, made another. That's what all this is about. Just each time I do it, I learn something new, but I always have something finished to show. So what I want to show first is these. This is a jelly roll pillow. I'm not finished with it yet. This is just the front of it. So this is made by using a jelly roll. And this is Bonnie and Camille's Early Bird. And I saw the tutorial on Fat Quarter Shop. Kimberly Jolly made a pillow, easy to follow tutorial. I'll link it below, but I'm not finished with it. I already have the pillow form. I just need to make the back and stuff it. But this is a really big cover. And the reason I did this is I'm going to stand up to show you this one. I had this Early Bird fabric that were charm packs. No, these were a layer cake. These were layer cake squares. And I made this, I still have to finish it. I made this cover. And I used all of the layer cake with just white. And so I have the alternating squares. And I just made it scrappy looking. So I love Bonnie and Camille. I love this Early Bird. Let me turn it this way for you. So I need to finish this one, and this goes with it. But I think the pillow will probably stay in my sewing room, and this will just be a throw, or maybe a blanket I keep up in my sewing room. So that is 2 rips that I need to finish. They kind of go together. And I will link the tutorial below that I used for this. I used, I think I went to Missouri Star Quilting Company for this one. And Jenny Doan had an easy to follow tutorial for this. And it's just 2 layer cakes. I used the white and then the Bonnie and Camille Early Bird. And had so much fun with this one. So that is one quilt that I am working on. Hopefully I'll have that one finished soon. And then I took from my local quilting store, it's called Gina's Fabric Store, Gina's, and she's a Bernina dealer, but she's a beautiful quilt store. But she has classes, and last year, right after COVID, the lockdown and things started opening up again, they had a class, and I took it, and it was for these stars. And if you have ever seen these patterns, this is the AOK patterns. And what I like about these patterns is they use 5 yards of fabric. So you get 5 1-yard pieces of fabric to make any of their quilts. So I've bought several of the patterns. But what's wonderful about these is if you are ever out in a quilt store and say you see a line of fabric that you like, but you don't know what you want to make just yet, but you don't want to miss out on getting the fabric because they sell out, get 5 1-yard different fabrics from that line, and you can always go, and they have so many different patterns, but you can go to this line and know that you can make a quilt with 5 1-yard bundles. So this is an AOK Starry pattern that I used. And so I took a class. I'm not finished with it because I had to miss the last class. This was last summer, and I didn't get to finish it for many different reasons, right? Who knows why I didn't finish it. There's no excuse, except all I have to do is quilt it and bind it. It's already layered, ready for me to go. But I used this one with the starries. Everybody was picking all everyday stuff, and I went Christmas. I don't know why. I think it's because I wanted to use this Lori Holt Christmas fabric. So I made a Lori Holt, using all the Lori Holt vintage Christmas fabrics. I made these stars, and I mixed them up. They're all different, and they're all fun. Oops. And I just loved, and I just picked what they had left in the store. And that's an example of, if you don't buy it then, they may not have it anymore. So I mixed and matched all of the Lori Holt fabrics. And I just did white sashing, but this is white sashing with a Christmas design on it, just snowflakes. So this is beautiful. I love it. I've got to get it done for this Christmas. The backing that I'm using is the pink, and the binding I'm putting on it is a pink and red plaid. So super cute, a lot of fun. I learned a lot from that class. That is the first class that I took, and it's the first time I cut to make stars or anything. So I did learn a lot, and I learned so much and that I wanted to make it again. So I have started with, oh, and I will link this below too. I forgot to get the full name of this fabric line, but this is Mackinac Island, and I'm not sure who it is. It's probably Moda, but it's Mackinac Island, and I'll have to pull it up and I'll link it below. But I am making, and these just look so patriotic to me. So I am making these squares. So here's the red and the blue, and you can see how the 5 yards goes a long way. So each of these squares, I think I get 12 squares just by using all those fabric bundles. So here's this one. Here's this light blue. And then the next one I'm using, I think it has, this is the background, and then this is the blue with it. So I've got them cut, ready to go. I just need to work on them and finish this one. This is such a fun summer pattern and fun summer fabric that I really want to get this done too for the summer. So between this, the Thimble Blossoms flag, and my Liberty Lane charm pack, I've got some patriotic quilts that I want to make. So that's also a goal of mine this summer. So I think with all of that, that is all of my quilting I have going on right now. I hope to introduce more and more of those as we go on. And you can see my stars are not perfect. They are not lining up, but the back's a mess, but it makes me happy. And I just enjoy it. And so it all started with learning from charm packs and jelly rolls, and then from there I learned to step out of that and do a little basic cutting. As my friend Kay says, once you step out of those, then it just opens up the world of quilting if you feel comfortable doing that. If not, that's okay. My go-to is always going to be just a charm pack quilt, squares in a row, quick and easy, and that's okay too. So I hope you enjoyed this Flosstube number 11. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. Please like my video, subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm The Proper Stitcher. I have a Facebook group. It's The Proper Stitcher as well. It's a private group, so there are a few questions to answer and to join the group. I'd love to have you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment below or send me an email. My email is theproperstitcher@gmail.com. And until I see you next week, happy stitching, enjoy your weekend, and thank you so much for being with me today.